I am calling from my favorite city in France. So I'm just gonna go and show you guys favorite city in all of France. It's a little grimy, but super fun. But like the griminess of French neighborhoods, like are nowhere near compared to the grimy of America. Funny enough, I was just talking to a bookseller, and this is we're going to talk about my lifestyle. It's a secondhand bookseller. And he was talking about Baltimore because I was telling him about investing, and he was just like, "Yeah, I've seen Baltimore. It's a bit grimy, isn't it?" I was like, "That's a perfect word." It was like a second language, so I was really impressed. Um, this is a wonderful view. Look at that view. Oh, the Mediterranean city. It's a seaside city, so we get lots of wind right now. Lots of rain, but people are wondering somehow, like, how am I able to retire early through real estate and the lifestyle that I live now? And I just wanted to share because it's actually in some ways cheaper than if I was working because I have to make different decisions and I have to buy different things and I'm not going into debt. So it actually isn't that much. So I just want to go over what that's like. So I'm just gonna have a seat, maybe. Well, maybe I'll go down here. Some lovely stairs. Come over here and start. Hopefully the wall doesn't give me too much thing. Yeah, so let me talk about this. This is so funny. So because I decided, so I'm gonna do the first part, early retirement. And come in and say hi, so I know you're listening and talking and engaged. And so I'm gonna talk about the real estate part, but like what the lifestyle is now. Like how can you be early retired? What does that look like? And it's actually a lot simpler than you think. And it's so hilarious because like I just have to make different decisions now that I would have made like a year ago, just so I don't feel any pressure to have to start working again and to keep the expenses low. So how did I get here through real estate investing? Honestly, it wasn't even that many properties. Like, and if you guys have been following me, I started in 2013. I had about 3 properties, 4 properties, total 7 properties total. I've bought some and sold some, but I kept on to my personal property as well as 3 after buying and selling some others. And I held them for 10 years. And what happened was I had thought like when I started, I would like live off the income. But what was easier was with after 10 years is a full housing cycle. So I sold them. And I was able to, what I sold them, I was able to pay everything off, all my debts off. And that is the biggest key. So if you want to retire early, pay your debt off. If you guys all make in the next 10 years your goal to pay your debt off, you're actually a lot closer. Because what I have found and what I'm living right now is that once you actually pay your debt off and don't go into new debt, you actually don't need that much money to live, right? Like once you pay your debt off, when I look at like my rent, my mortgage, utilities, my food costs, and that's just like my basic necessities, what I need to wear, things I need, da 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 da. It's only like 1,800 a month. That's not excessive. You can work a minimum wage job and make enough to afford that. So those are my expenses every month. 15 to 1,800. Now, if I want to travel and whatnot, I have to pay a little bit more, but like that's not a lot. You don't need to work an $80,000 an hour job if you get yourself out of debt and your expenses, including rent and utilities and all your food and necessities, are about 1,500 to 2,000 a month. So that's number one. So I would say number one is get out of debt. So even if you're not investing, although that's a really fast way in 10 years to really, because 10 years is a full cycle, even in stock market, 10 years, 2000 to 2010 is enough to give you considerable appreciation. So I like to think of things in 5 to 10 year chunks, but I've always, even when I started this blog, if you look in 2013, it was all about within 10 years. So I think you need to reframe from thinking you need to retire in 40 years and 30 years. And I really need you to get in your mind 5 or 10 years is possible. And it was when I started. And like I said, look at my 2013 videos within 10 years, 10 properties within 10 years. I thought I had 10 properties. I didn't. I sold 3 that appreciated, but 10 years, as I know, is a full life cycle and housing. So getting out of debt should be number one. Once you do that, your expenses are sort of low. So the funny thing is, I live a certain lifestyle. So now, because I don't want the pressure of having to work, I keep my expenses pretty low, and I don't have the pressure. So I have a 2006 Honda Civic, right? Like I still drive it. And I'd love a new car. I'd love a new Lexus. But the reality is, as soon as I buy that new car, even if it's really used, if I don't pay cash, all of a sudden my 1,800 to 2,200 a month becomes an extra 400. And then on top of that, you have an extra $250 for your insurance versus my 17-year-old Honda insurance, right? And that's one big key. So once you get out of debt, staying out of debt, your lifestyle changes and your decisions change. So when I need something, it's either pay it off immediately or we do something cash or the alternative. For instance, like I just got back from a bookstore and I'm talking to the bookseller. He speaks really good English here in France. And, like the reality is I went to a book fair here in France because I wanted some books for me and my daughter. And I wanted them to be young, like for kids and teens, because I'm learning the language and I'm not at adult level in their language, but I am at teen. I am at like early teen. I'm going to show you guys some of the books at the end. They're in my backpack. And, the thing is, I was at a second-hand bookstore, okay? Because if I bought like $10 and I think 30 euros, but it's worth it because I can't get these French young adults in the States, like getting it here and taking it back is just going to be better and cheaper. But $30, like I swear it's a lot of books. I got 2 for free because I got so many. So it's 30 euros. Whereas if I would have bought them new or online, it would have been 5 to 10 euros each. So it would have been 100 euros, right? And so the thing is, what happens when you're living this early retired lifestyle, regardless of how you do it through real estate, you can get to it a lot sooner once you're out of debt, but you'll just start making different decisions. Now, I still have books. They're just not new books. They're old books. But for me, they serve a purpose. I haven't read every book in the world, so I can read old books because there's thousands of old books I haven't read. So it's and I want to just go over how my lifestyle has changed and all the different decisions I make now. So, for instance, when I fly to France, people are like, "Oh, you fly every month?" I do, but it's like, how much am I paying? You guys pay more in gas, and you pay more in your mortgage payment. No, you pay more in your car payments than I do to fly here every month. And then when I get here, I buy my food. I get apart hotels, which are very common in Europe. So they're like $40 to $60 a night, and they're good quality, and you can cook your own food. And so when I go shopping at the store, I pay like 125 euros a week, which is about $135, $140 a week. But like I pay $250 in the United States. So like you would think, oh my God, how are you doing this? Well, I'm not eating at restaurants every day. I cook my own food, like it's just a different lifestyle. It's healthier. And it makes it so I can travel here a lot. My plane tickets are $350, $400, $450, $500. Some of you guys have car payments that are that much. Am I lying? Tell me if I'm lying, right? And so it was a choice. You can choose to have the nice car, and you can choose to have a payment for the nice car. And you can choose to show everyone your super nice car. I rock my old car, but every month that you would be paying that $400 car payment, I refuse to get a car payment. I just fix it as I need it with the cash I have on hand. And I fly to Paris. And I get cheap tickets. I was in the Hampton Roads region. And so the cheap tickets are out of Washington and New York to Europe, to Paris specifically, because they have so many flights. So it's easier to get like a flight that's cheap. So I would take a train 4 hours to DC. So before, did I have the time to take a 4-hour train just to save $400 on a plane ticket? Maybe not. But can I do it now? Yes. So what happens is I'm telling you guys, I get the same things done. I just do it differently. So instead of going out of my local regional airport, out of Norfolk or Newport News, I take a train 4 hours up to DC, or I take my car and I park it in a hotel because you get hotel parking that's cheaper than airport parking. I'll Uber to there. I'll take a flight out of DC that took me 4 hours to get to. I'll fly to Paris. I get here. I get an apart hotel, which are very common, which is better than Airbnb. It's $40 to $60 a night, which is very affordable. So maybe, on a week stay, it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Like $500, $600 on a 12-day stay. That's not bad. That's rent for some people. And so I get here and okay, part of the thing is not only did I take a train 4 hours to either Washington, D.C. or New York to get that $400 ticket. Yes, choose your heart. not only did I do that, right? So because I have this time, so I'm still flying to Paris, but a couple of things might happen. One, I'm taking a 4-hour ride or 6 hours to New York. So I spend the whole day. So the flight it leaves in the evening at 7 o'clock at night. I can take a train from Hampton Roads to New York in 6 hours, get there directly into JFK and take a flight. That's $300, $400, $500, right? And so I'd spend the day traveling. So what it is that you would probably just go, okay, at this time I just go and I go at my local place. I drive 30 minutes, whatever. I spend the day traveling, but I got it for really cheap. So I'm still gonna go. It's just really cheap. Or I got one ticket. It was 30 hours, and I had to fly into Turkey. So I had to fly into Turkey, stay overnight in Turkey, and then at 6 a.m. take the flight to get to France. But it was like $400, so I took it. So it's not that like we're both getting to France. You're just getting like economy seats and da 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 da, and you paid twice or three times as much. I'm still getting there. I just because I have time sort of ameliorates, so you don't need a lot of money. And I'm going to go into that. So the changes in my lifestyle are basically with the changes in the lifestyle are just basically now that I have more time, I spend more time so I don't have to spend more money. I'm not in a rush, so I can spend 4 hours on the train to get the cheap flight to Washington, D.C. I'm cool on a 4-6 hour train ride. I know how to do exercises on there. Like I get my like cardio in, and my like strength training because you can do like seated stuff, but I don't want to show pictures of it because I don't want y'all to start doing it. I'm sure it's annoying, but I work out on the train. I have my phone. I have my laptop, so I can spend 6 hours. So that's just the difference in lifestyle. If you choose to early retire, your time makes it so you don't need more money. So, for instance, if I went to a restaurant all the time, I would be saving time, but I'm paying more money. I cook my own food. I have to go to the grocery store. So, because I spend more time doing those things, I don't have to spend as much money on food. And then I actually spend less than I would if I was in the United States. There's some other things I spend less on here than if I did the same thing in the United States as well. So that is a change in lifestyle as well. For instance, when I'm going shopping here, this might sound a little crazy to you guys, but like I needed tennis shoes right before I came. Instead of going to Amazon and buying it for 30, 40, 50 bucks, or even the store and buying it for 100 or the mall, I went to the thrift store and I got it for 12 bucks. I'm wearing them now. And so I'm like, now the conversations get a little awkward when I tell people how good of a deal I got from the thrift store. They're just like, dude, you're shopping at the thrift store. I'm like, okay, maybe I won't bring it up to you. Maybe I need poor friends now. I don't know. So it's a little awkward a little bit because I'm like really going off on like how I got a $12 tennis shoes that were like brand new at the thrift store. And some of you guys are just like, ugh. And I get it for some of y'all. But like it's just a difference in lifestyle. So instead of buying it immediately and spending $40 on Amazon and it being delivered the next day, I had to take the time to go. So a lot of what I'm going to just explain is like how you actually don't need a ton of money if you have time. And in America, they take time away from you, so you have to make more money. But you can choose, right? You can choose which one. So because I have more time, I can take a 30-hour flight and get a $300, $400 train ticket to Paris. So all of a sudden, going every month isn't that hard because I only do a couple things. I do Latin dancing and travel. That's it. I'm not buying a new car. I'm not buying more expensive stuff. I needed a jacket. I'm going to the thrift store to get a jacket, or I go to eBay. I use eBay a lot too for nicer items. Like for instance, I like these leather skirts that are long and straight leg. They're maxi skirts. They're like $600 if I buy it from like Hugo Boss or J. Crew. But like I got one for $40 and it fits perfectly because I know my measurements. So it's just I had to order it. I had to wait. It wasn't like this. You had to hope it came okay. But it was $40, not $600. So it's not that I don't have nice things. It's just you're slower about receiving them. You're a little bit more methodical and you trade your time for less money. But I can guarantee you, I have 10 books in my bag from the secondhand bookstore that would have cost so much money if I bought them new. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's like, so I had to take time to go to the bookstore. So the secondhand bookstore, they don't have a catalog, right? They don't have a catalog with everything like in a new bookstore where you can just like, oh, where's this at? Oh, it's right here in this aisle. So no, you got to just search and you got to take what you're going to get. But it's actually really cool because I'm discovering France, whatever. But so that's the lifestyle I live now. But I wanted to show you very specific ways in which you actually can do it. You just have to choose to have less time but more money, like in the 9 to 5 scenario that we're in, or spend more time, but you can spend less because you're not so time sensitive or in a rush. So that's how I get over is I take these cheap trips. I can spend all day going. So one day, if you ever choose to early retire or semi-retire, you can still do this as well. You'll just maybe take a 4-hour train ride to get to the cheap airport or bus ride to get to the cheap airport so that you can then come here at a very good price. So when I get here, I'll go to used bookstores. Oh, and I actually do a little arbitrage. So because I'm doing Latin dancing, which just like the last couple months got into salsa, merengue, tango, bachata, it's very expensive in the United States. It's like $20 to $25 for a 40-minute class in the United States. Well, it's like $10 here in France. Or private lessons, $100 in the States. It's 50 euros here. So I'm actually taking advantage of like all the tango classes I can get in Paris because there's so many because it's a big city and I'm staying in an apart hotel for $50 a night. So it's not even that expensive. It's just on the outskirts of Paris. So again, I take the time to take the metro to get to where I need to go. I live outside the city just a little bit, maybe about 20 minutes. And so I'm still paying $55 a night. So I'm not even like in Paris and I'm coming every week. And is my expenses? No, I pay less sometimes than what I pay in the States, honestly. Good, Miracle. I'm glad you're getting some. I hope you're getting like some ideas that maybe this lifestyle is not as crazy as you think. But I just want to put it in real clean terms. I am early retired. I'm still doing everything I was doing, but we just do it a little differently. We just shop secondhand for everything. I sold a lot of things and I've given away a lot of things to the thrift store that were really high quality. I'm taking it as well. It's my turn. And you can completely live. If I need a new pot, I'm not paying $15 at the grocery store, $40 at Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm paying $5 from the local thrift store. It just is what it is, right? Like I got a pot, I clean the pot works. We're done. It's not about having the new and best in this lifestyle. It's just what works great and give you the results. That's it. And that's what this is about. Oh God, I'm all into someone else's trash as someone's treasure, which is how I started real estate investing because there's all these really they're sort of bad, maybe not too bad, but like minority neighborhoods with high crime that people just thought were trash, and I'm just picking it up, and now I'm early retired 10 years later. So like I said, the first part of this is like 10 years you can do it. 10 years is a full cycle, and just really just get out of debt. But then the lifestyle changes. You use your time to not need as much money. But I'm telling you, there are people who make more money than me who will never shop in a thrift store the way I do. They're not going to go to the secondhand bookstore like me. They have more money. They have nicer cars. And I will tell you, I have a richer lifestyle. And it might be some of you guys, right? So you have to understand the lifestyle switches when you're early retired to the more time you have, the less money you need to accomplish the same exact goals. My goal is to get to Paris every month, not get to Paris every month as easy and smooth as possible, just to get to Paris every month. So I don't have to take a 30-hour train flight through Turkey or China or Russia, because they have like those cheap flights, but you have to go through like their country, and it's just like 30 hours. I made it to Paris, and it took 2 days. I had 2 days, right? So it's a lot. And so that's sort of the difference in lifestyle. Sometimes I take advantage of arbitrage. Like I said, the classes over here. So I'm taking like all these different tango classes that are super expensive in the States because it's just not as popular there as it is in France. Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Miracle. Yeah, please. That's what I'm here for. Just to show people there's more than one way that they told us on how to accomplish what our goals are. So right now, I'm just in a time is my friend, so I don't need as much money. And sometimes that means maybe I want to buy something and I don't want to pay credit, and it means I have to take the time to save. We're in a different world right now, so I have more time, but I can take that time to do it, and your expenses aren't that much. So again, I'm going to reiterate, get out of debt. That's the big thing. Your expenses aren't that much, but just understand you guys, like I said, you have a nicer car than me. You would never shop at the thrift store. You just go to Amazon and buy whatever you want. You're not buying a used pan from the thrift store the way I did. You're just not. I'm getting a nice one. I'm getting whatever. But I would say you have more money than me. You might be richer than me in cash. But which lifestyle would you rather have? Because I don't have, I do what I want. You know what I mean? So it's just really start thinking about it. That's what they gave us. That's the program. But breaking out of the program, I wanted to show you what it looks like on this other side. Oh man, good question. I'm gonna tell you something on my travel channel that I do about my travels. I was actually gonna say how I actually like the budget travel lifestyle because there's more adventure in it. So when I go to the secondhand bookstore, it's different than going to like a commercial bookstore. Like I literally just had a 20-minute conversation with the owner of the bookstore because it's not big, it's not a commercial. I had to ask him more questions because I'm like, do you know where you have this? Do you have, I bought 2 Harry Potter books, the first 2 books in French. I don't know, like it's there's a little bit more adventure. So like for instance, I'm taking so right now I'm being budget, right? So what I'm saying is I sort of like it because you meet people at a deeper level when you're budget. Because like, and I learned French better because like I'm not taking Ubers everywhere. I have to go to the bus stop and I have to ask people. I can't understand this bus. Which way is it going? Can I get to this place? They take me over to the map. We have to go over it. I'm taking a Flixbus, which is like the low cost bus here. From I'm flying. I'm coming back for Christmas, and I fly into Milan because that was the cheap ticket. And then I bought a $60 Flixbus overnight to Paris. And I'm just saying, there's just a little bit more adventure in the budget lifestyle. And it almost becomes a thrill when like I'm living this life and I have everything I want and I only paid like $50 for everything and someone would have paid like 1,500. There's a bit of a thrill. So is there, I don't know at this moment, the lifestyle that this creates, that 4 hour train trip to DC or 6 hours to New York, hang out in New York for the day. Then I catch my flight. Then it takes 2 days. Oh my God, I'm in the Turkish airport. Where can I sleep? I read somewhere on the internet that there's couches. The couches are full, but I read over. I don't know. I don't know. There's a little bit more adventure. So I will say maybe right now. The thing is, less money, more time. It's a very interesting way of living, and I am enjoying it. Because, like I said, there's just more connection. So if I go into Barnes and Noble, it's different than like if I went to like the equivalent of the bibliothèque, no, the librairie. That's like a bookstore here. That's new. It's nowhere near the same level of connection that I just received from the secondhand bookstore where the owner was there. He's there all day. So he was able to tell me exactly where everything was. And I was like, okay, what about this? You know, I like this. Uh, I think I'm just going to stay this way because there's other benefits outside of saving money. There's more connection and integration into the community. Me being in France, that's what I'm looking for, connection, you know? Yes. Oh, Jason, yeah. Yes. And you remember, I used to say 10 houses within 10 years. That's not what I did. I just had a few houses that appreciated after a 10-year housing cycle. But yep, 10 years. That's cool. It is. It's adventurous. It's a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more of a thrill. I don't know. Sometimes when you get to a point, you need a little bit of thrill, but not too much in your life. Where there's a little bit more adventure. There's a little bit more of like, okay, where's this bus stop? Because they just say, "Oh, fuck," all right? Like, and you're sitting here and you have to ask people, where the Flixbus? Where the Flixbus? Right? Like, where's the Flixbus? Where is it? And then like you finally find it. It's over there. You just make. I don't know. It's just a little bit more of an edge. You have to be a little bit more on your toes. And I think sometimes you can get really sort of lackadaisical and doing the same old. So, and not just that, like you just discover, because you have to search more when you're on a budget, this budget lifestyle. You have to search more. You have to do more. You have to talk to people more. You have to ask more questions. Where can I find something that's a good price? Where can it, what, but you find these really good treasures that are unknown to the tourist. So, I think I'm going to do it just because the connection is really good. You're fine. You can still do it. Just set yourself a 5 or 10 year goal. You can still do it. So the lifestyle that I live as an early retired person, I hope I give you a really good idea. I do the same things you guys do, but maybe you might go to a high end place. I might do that once a month. But right now, there's free places, so I would go to the free place with the free people, the people who like free stuff. It's a different class. It's a different demographic, different class, and that's okay. But like I said, I'm here in beautiful Marseille. Look at that view. Oh, I wish I could zoom in, but it's just a beautiful view of a Mediterranean city in France. This is like Cours Julien. It's a lot of graffiti, a lot of art, a lot of artists. It has some of the best restaurants. I really like it. So yeah, so that's what it looks like being early retired. You substitute your time but I wanted you guys to leave this understanding. Once you have a lot of time, you do not need a ton of money. Leave with a few things. You can retire in 10 years. You can semi-retire, early retire in 10 years. Leave with the fact, get out of debt, make that a goal, unless it's like for property. And understand when you have more time, you don't need a lot of money. And you have to trust me on that. Because I just explained every single thing that I was able to do, and I get over here and I do. I spend more time, but I have time to spend doing things I want. So I don't need as much money, right? So when you guys are, and that's the secret. And I remember I recommended a book about 10 years ago, and I just gave it away in a book exchange because I had a language partner, and we were like, well, each bring a book that we like. And so I brought this book, and it was called Possum Living. And I was like, how, and I reviewed it on this channel 10 years ago. And it was all about how you can live without a job. And I'm like, oh my God. So when I brought it, I was like, oh, I had that knowledge in the back of my mind. But like, what I really want you to understand is that it is possible to live without a quote unquote huge job if you set yourself up properly and understand that for every single thing out there that you think you need a lot of money for, if you had a lot of time, you don't need a lot of money for it. You just need a minimum amount. Can you guys believe me? Tell me what your thoughts on that in the comments. Do you guys understand? Did I give you enough examples of how you don't need a ton of money if you have time? And you can take the time to find a deal, take the time to find a secondhand store, take the time to save money up, take the time to fix or repair something versus buying something new. You have the time to take longer flights that get you to your destination, but you can go more often. You can take the time to find the right outfit or the right shoes. You don't need to pay $50, $60. You can pay $10 and do that consistently. Are you guys understanding that once you have the time in early retirement, I'm early retired, so I'm more strict than I would be if I was really retired. The possibility exists if things got bad, I can go to work. I'm not going to. But like I keep it very low because you have it. I just had a client buy a $44,000 house last month. Like, it's still possible. So if you guys still want to do investing in these low-cost houses, they still exist. It's pretty amazing. No, I'm not going to tell you where. I only tell my clients who pay me for that. But yeah, they still exist. Like 3 weeks ago, mid-November. So they still exist. Yep, you can still do it. Of course, I'm more discerning about not telling all the places at. You have to work with me, and we find them. But yep, they still exist. Hotel costs. I do apart hotels, which are very common in Europe and in France. And so they have a kitchenette where you can, the microwave, refrigerator, and a toaster oven. So which is not like a stovetop. That's enough for me. $40 to $55 a night. So this one that I'm in is $45 a night. I just changed my plans like yesterday to go to Paris, and I'm about 20 minutes outside of Paris on the subway, 4 minutes from the metro, and it's $55 a night. That's a non-refundable price. The refundable price was like 65 or 70 for the refundable, but I didn't need that. And I decided to cut my trip short because here in the south of France, they honestly, like, it is so funny. Like, you can't even give these people money. They're just like, whatever. So I was trying to take a tango lessons, and I found 3 people, and it's like, I literally couldn't give them money. It's like, one was like, he didn't call back, and then he had an attitude, and one of them was just like, oh, okay, so come to my group class first. I went to the group class. Then he's like, I don't know, I'm busy. I told some guy who was French about it. He was just like, it's south of France. They're too Mediterranean. Like, they don't want to work. So then in Paris, though, they need to make money. So I cut it short because there's like a ton of tango classes I can take for private at, like I said, half the price here in the US. So like I said, that's one of my things I budget for. Like, 50 euros is, it's $100 to take private tango classes in the United States. It's 50 euros here. So I just budgeted for 4 classes. So I'm still doing things I love, but I do 2 things I love: traveling through France and Latin dancing. That's it. Other than that, I'm buying stuff from the thrift store. So it's not like I'm living a poor lifestyle. You would think my lifestyle is very rich, It's just not in money. It's just rich in experiences. And I have those too. And I have to be strict. There's other things I want to do, but I choose to if you don't want to stress. And so it's also about sort of choosing and minimizing all the different distractions. And you just have a couple that you just want to get good with. So that's it. Greetings. Oh, good. Yeah, so that's sort of, hey, Bernita, hope you're doing great. So 3 things. You got it. 5-10 years only. You're not 30 years. We're not doing that. Not anymore. So you've been watching me for 10 years. So put 5 on it, or 10. That's it. Everybody shift your mentality. They told us 40 years in retirement. we're telling ourselves and creating 10 years. It's very possible. All different ways of doing it. Tons of people like me to get out of debt, because the debt, like your car payment, is more than I pay each month to travel here to France. Don't have a car payment. We're going to go old school. Okay. Because trust me, there's more freedom that way, even within the United States, which is so busy. And 3, understand that your time, you don't need as much money. Okay. So with time, you don't need as much money. We do the same things. And no, you don't have to. If this isn't for you and you like your job, you like what you're doing, great. A lot of us don't. I know I didn't. Oh, good. Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's very slow, Mr. Rashida, like step by step. Oh, I so love it. Yes, yes, yes. And you know the good thing, Miss Rashida, I have had people who did that and it took them a year for them to save up the money, and then we worked after the year. So as long as it keeps you in the eye on the prize, and I've seen the actual follow through, it's all that matters. Nika, you know what I had to discover since I've been here? I've had to reprogram myself. It's our culture. We don't know anything else except hustle. We don't kick you out at 18 because a job opportunity is more important than you living next to your family. All we know is money in the United States. I had to reprogram so much. I had to reprogram the status and the ego and buying more and the bigger house. Why? No, get roommates, as you heard me say. No, stay low, get out of debt. We inherited this culture. It's not the best culture for happiness. We inherited it though. And I know we inherited it because I have to do so much to get out of the program. And now about a year in, I'm out of the program. And that's why I'm telling you this, because I want you to see there is another program you can put in your psyche. 10 years, no credit, and you can do everything you want just with more time. If you get yourself more time, you can do whatever you want. And that's in anything. If you had more time, maybe you don't have to pay $1,400 a month for childcare because you figure something else out where you can handle it. There's just so many different examples where if you have your time, you can actually do a lot more and you don't need a ton of money to do it. It's because we don't have time. We know that we do all this. Good, 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 good. You can. It is definitely possible. It is definitely, yes, and why not? And I'm gonna just say the reason I got here is just because when I grew up here, I just rejected all the stuff they were trying to feed into my brain. Corporate America, you guys know me. That's why I started the real estate investing. I don't fit in. My lower class, working class behind didn't fit in corporate America. Like, no, my working class black behind didn't fit in corporate America. And I'm like, y'all aren't about to use me and act like I'm not intelligent. And I'm supposed to stay here and take in all these microaggressions and you grooming everyone else except me? No. So I reject it. 40 years to retire? No. I'm going to try to get 10 low-cost properties. I didn't get that many, but I was still able to retire within 10 years. So that was the goal. So in order for me to get here, there's a lot of rejection of what is fed into us. And now even the rejection of me seriously talking about going to secondhand stores the way I'm doing is a little off-putting to some of you guys. Like, I know it. It would have been off-putting to me because I wasn't in that mindset. Like, it's a little off-putting, but I have to tell you, like I said, you might have more money, but I'm richer in experiences. Like, my life is just as rich, right? When I'm doing tango with all these people from France and maybe traveling to Spain for the next tango competition because it's good for beginners and amateurs. No, you have more money than me, and no, you don't shop at thrift stores. And I might splurge a little on like an outfit for that event, but it's one event, one outfit. You don't need all that money. You don't need all those things. Hi, Miss. Hello, Miss Renita. Oh, good, good, good. Yes, I hope you like the book. I need to get that second book out. Yeah, and like I'm here and people admire America because I'm like crapping on a little bit. It's not all bad. We just need to get balance and we just need to retake it out. And as soon as you guys, I'm going to tell you on this other side, as soon as you get to like stop spending all that money on stuff to look a certain way, go ahead and you actually have a lot more at your fingertip and opportunities because you are an American to do this stuff. Not the same as in Europe because it would have been easier to do all this stuff, but so yeah, I just wanted to say that that's the lifestyle. That's what it looks like. That's the difference in my mindset, energy. That's how my life goes now. I absolutely enjoy it and love it. It is different. Like you said, is there like a level of money in which I'm going to stop being so cheap? Right now, no, because there's just so much more you get from being secondhand and going vintage and taking your time and not buying new. When you're not buying new and you're buying secondhand or you're buying budget, it's a whole new world. Like, it's just a different mindset. You have to search more. You have to think more. I think it keeps you a little sharp, honestly. And I like the sharpness and the things I find. Like, it's just more, just more rewarding, you know? So with that, I'm gonna let you go. If you guys want to contact me to maybe there's a neighborhood you're looking at, you just want to talk about it, or invest and you just don't want to do it by yourself, you can contact me. And I do work with people one-on-one to help them invest in real estate, either where they live or excuse me, or out of state or long distance, and how to do that. And yeah, and come along with me as I sort of talk to you about early retirement through real estate investing and what it looks like on the other side, still being young. And like I said, and how to be rich in experiences, if not rich in cash, right? Rich in experiences and assets, if not cash. And they're both, like I said, you compare yourself to people with more cash, but their experiences won't even touch yours, right? So it is possible, and it's possible a lot sooner than you think. Like I said, start saying 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Don't know how, but you're going to make it 5 to 10 years. And let's just start rejecting the culture we were born into. So I hope that helps, and talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed. I do. Set up a call with me, Miss Miracle, and we'll go over. So just the 30-minute call is going to be pretty beneficial because I can see where you're at and tell you what you need and where you're going to look and what you're going to try to do and set you up. Then after that, we could look into some other things that might be beneficial to you. But even a call, people really generally enjoy my first time call because I usually just go into where are you? What do you need? Because I know exactly what you need to get there. And it's just really beneficial to know because I've had calls with people and then a year later I worked with them. But that call gave them all the steps. They said, okay, I don't have this yet, but I do have this to be able to do it. So those are really important. So thank you guys for tuning in. I love you all. Thank you so much. And please make sure to check out my travel channel. I want to go today. I'm going to talk about French women because I've been meeting more French women and different by culture. And what I think of that, as well as just some other different things about traveling to France and what's been helping my language learning. Oh, let me show you my used books I got. Now, I am learning French. And the thing is, in learning French, what has helped me the most is reading in French. Actually, let me tell you guys, I researched, I was like, wow, every time I read in French, I can understand people speaking it more. And then I read that when you read in French, you acquire language, not learning language. It's just a natural acquisition. You naturally figure things out. But they also said when you're reading to yourself quietly, you're micro vocalizing at a micro level, everything. And there's something about my micro vocalization. So the more I read, the better. The thing is, trying to get French books in the United States is so challenging. So I'm going to show you guys my little haul from the secondhand bookstore. This is my second haul. I hope I do some meetings with people in France. I mean, in the States, there's Alliance Française where people practice French. My hope is to get through some of these so I can take them and just give them away because it's hard to get these books like in the States. So I got 2 Harry Potter books. I got the first 2 Harry Potter books. So can you see? So all of these, basically what I do, if I can read the first page and understand 80 to 90%, I will get the book. So some sci-fi, some stuff, like I said, Harry Potter. I got the first 2 books of that translated. So all of these, I was able to read the first page and understand about 85 to 100%. So all of these are like, he was so nice. He just dropped the, let me see. This was 2.5 euros, but he dropped the 50 cents because he liked me. We had a good conversation. So that was pretty cool. So like 2 euros each. So this was all $30, but like this would be like so much money if I bought it. So I bought this for my daughter. So things like this, they have comics. They have comic books. So I'm teaching my daughter French. So these are going to be good for her because I was able to get French comic books. It's just really hard to get them in the States because it's so expensive. So things like this for my daughter we're going to read together. So all in French. And so like I said, these are for 13-year-olds, so I can understand. I would like one day to read at a more advanced level. So in France, like to be really highly regarded, like in business, I have one of my language partners. He works in diplomacy. And he was able to beat a lot of people. And it was because he could read and write in higher level French. So the thing is, the more French you read, the better your vocabulary and understanding of grammar and structure is. And then you're sort of more in that elevated, cultured company. But like it starts with reading. And that's been really good with my language learning. So yeah, so these are all the books I got today. They're all for like 13-year-olds, so I can read it. But I'm enjoying the process. All right, so I just wanted to share a little bit of like the language learning, but check out my other channel. I talk about like learning the language and going through and what's been helping me, how I'm conversational, and how I do most of it. Oh, even that I'm doing for free. Like I don't pay for tutors. I get language partners, so that's a good way. Like if I meet someone here and they want to practice English, I'm like, hey, let's talk once a week, and I schedule a call and we talk once a week and 30 minutes in French and 30 minutes in English. It's completely for free, right? Netflix. Like I'm actually learning this language and I'm not spending much money at all. Not like because. And you're still learning it at a high level, but like you don't have to pay for a formal course. You don't have to pay for tutors, which can be $20, $30 an hour, depending on where they're at. All of this is free because I have time, so I can make these calls and schedule these calls with my language partners. And that other good thing about that is that I've met them from all over France. So I met a farmer in Bretagne with a very thick accent, and then a Toulousian guy who does tango, and like Sebast, like this one guy in Toulouse who also works for Airbus, and Avignon, a woman in Avignon who hasn't worked in 5 years, so she's that's cool, and three Parisians. One's a diplomat, one's retired, and the other is like a young baker. So it's really cool, like, and they're all for free, so it's mutually beneficial. So I'm gonna go over this things like that on like integrating a society and making friends, and how if you do it strategically and giving aid as like making it mutual beneficial, it's relatively easy. All right, just hope you enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much, and bye. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and leave a comment if you liked anything about this or have any questions. All right, à tout à l'heure.